Save money just by watching WromWrom. Well, there's a bit more involved, but it starts with watching our news, for sure. Greetings from me, you're watching WromWrom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and a regular news roundup or weekly sim racing news. My name is Serta and I will be your host. For this video, we're going to save you 1.5 tons of money, well, at least if you would pay in the smallest coin possible. We asked around what the companies will or do already offer for Black Friday and present you with their answers at the end of this video. €500 less, up to $800 less, there seems to be everything. Because Black Friday, sim races, Christmas come early, and if you have found an offer we don't have in a segment, write it down in the comments. Some of the offers we were not allowed to publish until next week, so they are not there, sadly. And we'll skip the short news segment this week because what we have can be summarized in 2 sentences. ETS2 and ATS released their update 1.57 after about just 1 week of public beta, and Japanese Drift Master is out on Xbox Series XS. Other than that, there's a lot of news, big and small. As we expected, Rennsport developers have just dropped their latest update 1.14, and it's pretty much what you'd call a housekeeping patch. Lots of fixes, no flashy new features, but that's exactly what the sim needs. First up on the crash fixes, you can enable telemetry now as well as watching replays with damage enabled. Both of these stability issues are now sorted. The AI drivers were having a bit of an identity crisis apparently. They couldn't figure out which gear to use in the pit lane, which is not great. Even more bizarrely, some AI drivers were swapping places mid-championship, like they were playing musical chairs. Both of those quirks are now history. There's also a fix for the Championship R International mode where GT3 cars and hypercars were being distributed randomly. Now you'll actually get an even split per class, which makes way more sense. Audio problems got some attention too. The car's sounds cutting out in multiplayer sessions? Fixed. That annoying situation where traction control sounds and warning lights would still activate even when you're driving a car that doesn't actually have TC? That's been cleaned up as well. On the visual side, virtual displays were showing untextured scenes for a brief moment when crossing the finish line in time trials, and that's been tidied up. Gone is the Porsche's 992 Cup blue ghosting trailing off the back, and there was a flickering headlight issue that was especially noticeable on Orchard Road. Championships mode received a whole bunch of polish. Time of day wasn't changing between stages or rounds, which broke the immersion a bit. Several UI elements were misbehaving, icons not displaying, level up bars not updating, point tables looking messy, fonts being too large, buttons positioned incorrectly, and car names getting cut off. There was even a funny little glitch where -1 would briefly show up in the laps section of the pit menu. All of these have been addressed. A couple other oddities got ironed out too. Apparently you could complete the tutorial by crossing the finish line backwards, which, while funny, was probably not intended. Going back to the pit via menu now gives you the default fuel amount properly. Finally, there was an issue where car bodywork wouldn't always load properly in the garage, which has been resolved. iRacing has released a new patch that tackles some critical issues while getting things ready for the 2025 Season 4 release. The biggest fix addresses a performance problem that's been affecting quite a few players recently. Frame rates were dropping significantly after racing for a while. That should now be sorted out. Race control got a small but meaningful tweak with improved precision for detecting missed checkpoints and handing out track-cut black flags. AI drivers have gotten smarter at Le Mans, though the patch notes don't specify exactly what improved their racing skills means, whether they're better at overtaking, track limits, or something else entirely. It's one of those vague update lines that leaves you wanting more details. On the audio side, there was a bug where nearby opponent cars sounded like their RPMs were way too high, which has been fixed. That should make the racing soundscape more realistic. The user interface received several updates. The skew meter now performs better and works more reliably, so some bindings for best times and delta times were corrected, and the player's entry for relative brake bias now has a subtle background to make it easier to read. A couple of bugs got squashed too. The FOV calculator in settings wasn't accepting text inputs, and the custom sector box wasn't showing plus-minus times correctly. The camera tool also had a crash to desktop issue with the context menu that's been resolved. With regards to hardware, the controls have been updated to the latest SimuCube API, which should improve compatibility with those wheelbases. On the car front, brake bias adjustments are now allowed in fixed setup events for several older cars. The Ford Mustang GT4 gets a visual polish with improved windshield wiper animations and effects, which is a nice touch for immersion during wet weather racing. The Assetto Corsa Evo team has announced that custom server hosting is now live through a partnership with Seati. Players who want to run their own events can head over to ACEvoservers.com to get started. The pricing is pretty straightforward. Daily rentals run €5, VAT included, with unlimited slots, while monthly rentals cost €15. There's a Black Friday deal running until December that knocks 50% off yearly rentals, though they don't mention what the regular yearly price actually is, which is a bit odd. Now, here's an important warning that tempers the unlimited slots claim a bit. The game currently caps multiplayer sessions at 16 players, which will be going up to 32 for the upcoming release 0.4, scheduled sometime this month. The developers mentioned this is due to pit slot limitations on each track. They're working toward the same system Assetto Corsa Competizione uses, where overlapped pit spawns allow for bigger grids, but that's still in development. So while the server rental technically offers unlimited slots, the sim itself won't support that anytime soon. Setting up a server is fairly simple. You purchase an option, find your server in the My Servers section, and then customize the default settings. You can adjust tracks, layouts, cars, passwords, weather presets, and whatever else the game currently offers for sessions. Future updates to the server portal will include ballast and restrictor options and explicit car mechanical presets. They talk about other improvements in the future, but are not specific. Black Friday, week, month, whatever is upon us, and different companies have set up different offers which will bring you in reverse alphabetical order just to be contrarian. VRS DFP20 wheelbase down to $649, that's $150 off, plus a free year of VRS Academy. Half these deals change in 3 days, the rest will sell out fast, so check back often. Use our link VRS Racing Go WromWrom, which is also in our description, for an extra 5% off. Thrustmaster T598 servo base with Evo Racing wheel, €600, saving you €100. Or grab the Ferrari F1 wheel version for €540, €97 off. SimuCube, this one's critical, 30% off the Sport base, 25% off the Pro base, but only 200 units total. If last year is anything to go by, you will want to spam that F5 key to get there as soon as possible. Sensit Haptics, WromWrom exclusive. Code ROMBLACK gets you €500 off their MTCP cushions, only valid Black Friday midnight through Sunday 11 PM. KW, who bring out Asha and Track Time hardware, Asha hardware up to 30% off, Track Time up to 45% off, starts tomorrow, runs until December 7th. Bavarian Simtech starts Friday the 28th. Alpha Wheel and Pit Power 15% off. Omega Pro V2 Control Center DDU and Beacon Lights 10% off. Code ROMWROM adds another 5% on selected items. Asetek already live. La Prima button boxes 40% off. Forte GT button box 25% off. Forte Wheel 35% off. All rims, handles and paddles 20% off. La Prima pedals 40% off. Forte pedals 20% off. Use code ROMWROM or our affiliate link for an extra 5% and to support the channel. And you would think Asetek is the last of them, but we still have 3D wrap. Code BF2025 starting tomorrow the 24th for discounts across their entire range. Found a deal we missed? Drop it in the comments. If you don't want to miss any of our news, subscribe to the channel.